Welcome back to Teshkid FX for another price prediction update, and in this video I'll be giving you a price prediction update on Vechain, whose current price stands at the $0.03133 mark, and here on TradingView the market is up by 1.49%. and in this video I want to give the key scenarios that I expect to play out, basing my analysis on the Elliot waves and the Fibonacci's, and also the key areas of support and resistances. I will also show you the key patterns that you have information on this chart. So if you're interested in such content, make sure that you stick around till the end of the video, and I'll kickstart the video by giving a brief of what has been happening on this chart. From the all-time high, Vechain has been seeing lower prices in this massive ABC correction, which has now taken us to around the $0.02 mark, and having done so, I believe Vechain has done the minimum that we expected it to do in its ABC correction, and soon we might see a nice pump to the upper side in this Elliot wave, taking us back to an all-time high. But before that plays out, there are key scenarios that we need to take a look at here on the chart. And if I start from the weekly chart and I zoom in here on the charts, here on the weekly chart you can see that we are just about 7 hours to the close of the weekly chart, of the weekly candlestick, and I believe this is a very important day because today we'll be closing the third bullish candlestick here on the weekly chart, so the market might be a little bit volatile, so we need to keep a watch on how the weekly candlestick here closes, and I'll keep you updated on any movements here on the charts. If I also jump to the daily chart for further analysis, here on the daily chart you can see that Vechain had been trading within this channel right here in blue, and we managed to break to the upper side of the channel, managed to break above other key areas of resistances like the one we have at around the $0.029 mark, and from there we have continued seeing higher prices here on the charts. And if I also jump to the 4-hour chart for further analysis, here on the 4-hour chart you can also see that we had this descending channel that we had been trading within. The buyers took over the market and continued pushing the price of Vechain to the upper side, and we have managed to break above key areas of resistances. And here on the 4-hour chart, above this key area of resistance, we can see a nice retest of this area. You can see we had a retest of this key area of resistance, and after seeing a successful retest, we continued unlocking even higher prices, and we have managed to break above another key area of resistance up here. And in this movement to the upper side, we can term this as an Elliot wave count to the upper side, having this movement here as my wave 1. Then we saw a second wave, then the movement that we are in at the moment is a wave 3 to the upper side, then I will expect a wave 4, and then a wave 5, and that movement to the upper side will be completing a higher Elliot wave count 1, which I have labeled here in yellow. And in this movement, if I get a little bit into the details of these movements in these Elliot waves, after seeing the high of that first wave to the upper side, we expected a nice retracement to the lower side in a wave 2, and using the Fibonacci's we can measure and see whether this wave 2 has done the minimum that we expect it to do using the fibs. And you can see that we had a retracement to around the fib level 0.382, then started seeing a very nice reaction to the upper side, and in that movement, that is what I'm now terming as a wave 3. And using a trend based Fibonacci, we can get a target area for that third wave to the upper side. So if I use the fibs, the trend based Fibonacci, connecting the low of the wave 1 to the high of the wave 1, then dragging the fibs to the low of the wave 2, that should give us a target area for that third wave to the upper side at around the fib level 1.618, and that is at around the $0.03362 mark. And we can mark it out here on the charts using this yellow marking here. So this is the minimum that I expect this wave 3 that we are in to continue pushing to, and once we get into that region, then we can see a retracement in a wave 4, and then continue pushing higher in a wave 5 to complete this higher Elliot wave count 1. And that movement in that Elliot wave brings me to the key scenarios that I expect to see play out here on the charts. And the first movement is that from the prices that we are in at the moment, it's possible that we might continue pushing to the upper side, and in that movement I expect us to get into this yellow target, and this yellow target lies in an area that we have a key area of resistance. So it's possible that we might get to around the $0.03358 mark where we have a key area of resistance. Then we do not manage to break above that key area of resistance and have a pullback to the lower side. That movement will be forming our wave 4 to the lower side. Then once we maximize the target areas for that wave 4, then we can have a nice bounce to the upper side in a wave 5. So let's be patient and see how that plays out. And it's also possible that we might get into this resistance area and also our target area, manage to break above that key area of resistance, have a retest of this area, and then overshoot our target area a little bit to the upper side before we then see a retracement to the lower side. And that might happen as we try to have a retest of this area. The retest might not be a success and we lose that key area of support and then unlock lower prices in our wave 4 before we then see our nice pump to the upper side in a wave 5. So those are the key movements that I expect to play out here on the Vechain chart, basing it on the Elliot waves and the Fibonacci's. And if I also take a look at the indicators here on the 4-hour chart to see whether those movements will be supported, you can see we are trading at around the 61 mark here on the RSI, and that would mean we have a bit of room for us to continue pushing to the upper side before we get into the overbought region. And once we get into the overbought region, then we can see a nice retracement here on the RSI. So let's be patient and see how that plays out. And if I also take a look at the MACD, here on the MACD you can see we have printed a bearish cross, and that would mean lower prices could be coming our way on the Vechain chart. And in that movement, that might take us to around the $0.029 mark where we have a key area of support, and from there we can have support and then have a nice bounce to the upper side. So let's be patient and see how that plays out, and I'll keep you updated.